We are watching this White House bleed out like a stuck pig. A new USA Today poll has Biden's approval rating at 38%. You probably saw it today, matching recent numbers from Quinnipiac. Very low. 64% of Americans do not want President Biden to run for president again. 2 out of 3 don't even want him to run. Shockingly bad for a Democrat president covered by a mostly liberal media, I would say. And at this point, it almost feels like this is intentional, doesn't it? And there's an even bigger element to this story, and that's Kamala's approval, because you know that Biden's not going to go 2 rounds in this thing. Only 1 out of 4 people in this country approve of Kamala Harris. Isn't that amazing? The worst vice president in decades. And she doesn't even really have a real job. The VP is just a public relations job, glad-handing the people that the president doesn't have time to meet, hang out just in case the president taps out. How on earth do you screw up a job like that so badly? 27.8% approval for Kamala Harris. I mean, that is abysmal. It's unbelievable. Even CNN can't spin this one.
Here's the problem. Many Americans see a disconnect between what the president focuses on and what they are most worried about. 42% of Americans say, yes, the president has the right priorities. But look at this number. Nearly 6 in 10 Americans think the president is not spending enough time on the issues that they believe are most important to the country.
Well, that's because they're not. Case in point is energy. I paid $108 for a tank of gas on Sunday. And that was not in a big city. That was 80 miles from a big city. $108. You're feeling it. I'm feeling it. We're all feeling it. Now, to be fair, energy prices rise and fall. They've been high under Republicans. But what's really pissing people off about this bout is that it's arbitrary. The party in power is forcing you to spend more money on gas and to heat your house and everything else because it needs to appease environmentalists. This isn't coming from somewhere else. This is all happening because the White House is making it happen. And that's why you're poorer. Drilling restrictions, Keystone XL, and now the White House looking to inflict even more pain. And all eyes now are on Michigan. The Biden administration reportedly considering shutting down an oil pipeline that runs through Michigan from Canada. Politico reporting the Biden administration going into a so-called deep dive in studying the potential market impact of killing the Line 5 pipeline. The 68-year-old pipeline moves about 540,000 barrels of petroleum and crude oil from Alberta, Canada, through Ontario, through Wisconsin, Great Lakes, and Michigan. I'm not a weatherman. I'm not good at this stuff, but, you know, it kind of goes like this. The White House, the move by the White House, I should say, happening after Canada invoked a 1977 treaty a month ago that would keep the pipeline running. So, yes, super liberal Canada has more conservative energy policy than the United States now. Trudeau, huge leftist, already upset over the Keystone XL move that Biden made right after he got into the White House. He's going to blow a gasket over this one if it happens. Yes, we are now too liberal for this guy. That's impressive. Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer is another panderer. She'll do anything to get elected. She has no real policy. She has campaigned on revoking that Canadian treaty in an effort to appease environmental groups who, truthfully, may be the only people that are voting for Democrats in upcoming elections. You know the little, 1.3% vote that the Green Party gets in every election, and you just kind of laugh about it? If Biden keeps it up, that's going to be his party in 2024 because nobody else is going to identify with any kind of Democrat policy. Today, the deputy press secretary tried to spin the White House's latest assault on energy and your wallet.
The administration studying the impact of shutting down the Line 5.
Yes, we are. We are.
So then what's inaccurate?
Well, I thought you were saying that we were going to shut it down, but that is not inaccurate. Okay, great. But the Army Corps of Engineers is preparing an environmental impact to look through this.
It's too bad that none of these pipelines provide oil to Germany from Russia, because then they'd be fine. Then the White House could show up for the ribbon cutting ceremony and celebrate it. Pop champagne. More than a dozen lawmakers from the Midwest warning the president in a letter, writing, Should this pipeline be shut down, tens of thousands of jobs will be lost across Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the region. The termination of Line 5 will reportedly further exacerbate shortages and price increases in home heating fuels like natural gas and propane at a time when Americans are already facing rapidly rising energy prices, steep home heating costs, global supply shortages, and skyrocketing gas prices. But again, do these people care? Do they care about lost jobs? Not really. They'll just put you on the dole. That's why they're making it so easy to live without a job in this country. Do they care how much your heating costs? They clearly don't. Environmental expert Jason Hayes predicts if Line 5 were shut down, the Midwest would experience a similar situation to what happened in Texas last winter, when thousands were left without heat during a winter storm. Can you imagine if that was self-inflicted? Biden's approval rating would be 10%. The state of Michigan alone has already seen propane prices rise 50% from last year. That's a lot. Everything is up. Everything's more expensive. You know that. It's inevitable. You're going to spend a fortune to heat your home this year. Let's hope it's not that cold of a winter. We don't know yet. Propane users expected to pay 54% more on average this winter. Heating oil is up 43%. And nearly half the United States households are heating their houses with natural gas. They pay about 30% more. If you have electric heating, you get off pretty easy, just a 6% increase, which sounds like a great deal. How sad is that? Over the weekend, our horrific energy secretary admitted that it is, in fact, going to be a very expensive winter.
This is going to happen. It will be more expensive this year than last year. We have the same problem in fuels that the supply chains have, which is that the oil and gas companies are not flipping the switch as quickly as the demand requires.
Right. Pretending she cares, she doesn't. If they cared, your energy would still be cheap. Instead, they try to blame shift OPEC. Ooh, the oil companies aren't keeping up. The oil companies are blaming you. You're blaming them. You know who we believe? We believe the oil companies. In reality, we shouldn't even need to depend on something like OPEC, by the way. We were energy independent. You know that. Today, former President Obama told world leaders at the UN climate conference that Biden's spending plan, yes, the, $1.75 trillion that they're trying to get through, that's the miracle drug, right? That fixes every problem we have in the world. Why? Because they need you to believe that so that they can get it passed. But Obama says passing that is just going to help everything, including energy prices. Take a listen.
Along the way, it will reduce consumer energy costs, it will invest in a clean energy economy, it will create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and it will set the United States on course to meet its new climate targets.
What a fantasy land that the liberals live in. Meanwhile, gas prices right now, 7-year high. It's going to cost more to drive to grandma's house this Thanksgiving. And when you get there, by the way, the turkey is going to cost twice as much as well. $3.42 a gallon, today's national average, about $1.30 higher than a year ago, dramatically more expensive. Here is that same woman, Granholm, last week with her best Kamala Harris impression.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Would that I had the magic wand on this.
Awful. I mean, she is so awful. She's terrible. Where do they find these people? They think you're very stupid, is the point. Let's be honest. They think you don't remember how cheap energy was a year ago. They think you don't realize the United States has a massive ocean of oil beneath it. And you could be paying way less for gas, way less for heat for your house, way less for a lot of stuff. But they just can't let you because they need to do some politics. They've got to satisfy all those far-left liberal groups that put them in the White House. They have to appease them. Otherwise, those people won't be there for them next year and in 3 years. They won't. So you just have to suck it up. You got to spend more money because they need to appease their base. They need to appease the far left. And instead, to try and ease the blow, they're going to just try and beg other countries to make oil cheaper instead of using our own oil. Because apparently pollution doesn't count when it comes out of your car from oil that was produced on the other side of the world. That doesn't hurt the environment. To make all of this make even less sense, and I know it already doesn't make any sense, Biden is also considering using our own oil reserves in this country. So they don't want to take any out of the ground. but he's okay burning our reserves, which are for emergencies. 11 Senate Democrats are urging the president to tap supply from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and also to ban crude oil exports. So stop selling it and start burning what we have in reserve, pleading with the president to ensure that Americans can fill up their cars at the pump. These are the vulnerable ones that are worried about the next election. This is oil, of course, meant for the U.S. in case of a disaster. But you know what? I was just thinking maybe this presidency is the disaster. The polling numbers would indicate that.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.